2, 3, 4.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. This is our 12th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast, and we have hit a dozen episodes. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine AM or PM, whether it is the Gia, Tarde, or Noite. We continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I am one of your hosts, the one and only Brazilian mountaineer, Lucas Ham. Also with me, the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news, Patrick Novosel.
You know what the worst part is about having your cell phone off the charger all day? Is I'm looking at it right now, it's under 10%.
Yeah, you're never going to make it.
It's ridiculous.
Little thing.
Do you think I can make it? I can make it through the episode?
Somewhere Chris McCracken is freaking out.
It's got that red right there.
You're done when you're in the red. It's over.
That voice you just heard is our resident renegade who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, Ronnie Johantis.
Yee!
And last but certainly not least, a guy with music in his heart and Doctor Who on his brain, Marc Boucher himself.
'Tis I. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If it's not, then welcome back. It feels like you never left. And let me be the first to wish you a happy post-Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Super Saturday and Cyber Monday are now over, more or less. I think Cyber Sunday is still going on. Cyber Monday, dang it. Cyber Monday is still going on. But the kids have gone back to school for at least a few more weeks, I think, and we are recovering from that extra 10 pounds or 5 kilos of food we consumed last week, depending on what country you're from. It could be pounds, could be
Look
kilos.
at you with your 5 kilos.
Are there other measurements, types of measurements? It's just pounds and kilos, right?
Ounces.
Do people really say ounces? I weigh 1,000 ounces.
Not
I think they
really,
measure in
no.
liters as well.
They measure your weight in meters?
I said liters.
Liters. All right.
Yep.
I guess if you're like a walking liquid blob, they could measure you in liters.
They could.
Well.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Well, depending on where you're from, whether you measure your weight in pounds, kilos, or liters, it might depend on what country you're from. And shout out to the countries listening to us faithfully every week. Our top 2, no surprise here, is the U.S. and Brazil, which we, the 3 of us, nope, there's 4 of us. The 4 of us represent the U.S. and Brazil. 3 of you represent the U.S. I represent half of the U.S., half of Brazil. And then we're
What are
also...
you saying?
I don't know. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm already asleep. Beyond that, we have Mexico and the UK also tied for 3rd place. And they're listening to us. So shout out to the countries that are keeping with us after these 12 episodes. Well, 11 episodes. Who knows if they'll keep listening after this 12th episode as it's going so far. Also a shout out to all the brave men and women who have been fighting those fires in California, because as I have read recently, they are all contained.
Good work.
And I think
Absolutely good
work. I think shout out to all those people that have been working hard these past few weeks. Has it been more than a month, or has it been?
It's got to be close.
3 or 4 weeks. I've lost track of time. It feels like it's gone on forever. Do you guys have friends or family out in California, out in that area?
I do not.
Nope, unfortunately. Well, not
No, I don't
unfortunately.
think so.
Fortunately. I'm glad I don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't either, but, it's been on the news so much that I had to, just congratulate those that have been working hard, and we're so happy that, they're in a safer place.
Mm-hmm.
We are an international podcast, so we gotta look out for all those locals and international folks. Some more shout outs. Definitely have to go to our Twitter followers, our 300 Twitter followers.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, we just hit a nice little milestone. You got to celebrate the little things in life. And so today we, thanks to a few great people like Bad Gamer Elite, my buddy Drew Manning in Ohio. I almost forgot your name, Drew. I'm sorry. And who else? Oh, Gabe Pavão, one of my Brazilian friends. They helped us retweeting. They got us to 300. And then Chad Fackler, super listener Chad, he's dedicated his life apparently to getting us to 400. So,
Yeah.
Good stuff,
Sweet.
guys. We appreciate it.
Speaking of additional shout-outs, we have 7 ratings and 5 reviews on iTunes as of this moment. And as our listeners and as you guys know, we agreed to 5 reviews equaled one crazy thing done by one of the members of our podcast. And I think that member of our podcast that did a crazy thing was Patrick Novosel himself.
Yeah.
Are we right about that, Patrick?
I did do something.
You did do something crazy. Pat was the first, so why don't you tell us about it, buddy? How did it go, your crazy thing that you did in celebration of our 5 reviews?
So I put up the Twitter poll, basically, for like either crazy or cool things, and the one that won resoundingly was the hot sauce challenge. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this hot sauce challenge, I got to do it right. So my daughter and I, we went to Jungle Gyms and we found 5 different hot sauces with varying degrees of heat, ranging from 2,000 all the way up to 1 million Scoville.
Did your daughter know that she was like sentencing your palate to a fiery death by picking out these hot sauces with you?
She kept asking me, why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this to yourself? You know it's going to hurt.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so on Friday night, what I did is I went on Twitch and I streamed the whole thing, and apparently it was very choppy. The video quality was grainy. I kept dropping the feed. It ended up being pretty bad as far as streaming goes, which was okay because in between having some of that hot sauce, it gave me and my buddy a little break between the hot sauces. So we started off with 2,000, which the 2,000 Scoville was just to wet the palate.
Yes, Tabasco,
that was
right?
just our standard Tabasco sauce, just to get our tongues and our throats feeling that little bit of heat, getting ready for the big guns. So we went from 2,000 all the way to, I think it was 50,000 Scoville. I can't remember the names of the first one. I think it was Devil's Revenge, and then it went up to, I can't remember how high it went. It might have been 100,000, and it was Hot Sauce from Hell, which was okay. Those first 2 were okay. I enjoy hot sauce, so those 2 really didn't bother me. But once we got to the 4th one, which was spontaneous combustion,
Yeah, that's it.
that was the 400,000. Now, the 400,000, that was the hottest hot sauce I've ever had. The hottest hot sauce I've ever had up to this point was Blazing Wings from BW3s.
Yep, I had.
And
those
that is
ones.
only stupid idea.
Yeah.
Stupid idea to have those Blazing Wings. And that's 350,000.
But what's funny is,
so the
when you started going through the scores and you mentioned how low actually Blazing is, and I thought I was going to die when I had Blazing. I couldn't even imagine the fiery death that you were going through once you got higher.
Yeah, I looked up the Blazing Wings, and apparently it is the 7th hottest hot wings there is, as far as like at a restaurant in the United States.
Really?
So the 7th hottest is 350,000. I didn't look at anything else like around that or what was number 1. I didn't look because I really didn't need to. I didn't really want to look at my doom. So after we had that one, man, that really had a lot of fire on my tongue, on my throat. My hands started to feel like they were going numb.
Like they were going to spontaneously combust?
Like when you hit your funny bone and you feel that like tingling sensation.
It affected your limbs?
It was insane. Like not only did my mouth and throat feel on fire, but my hands were going numb. Not my legs, nothing else, just my hands. It was so weird. I went from like the pinky side of my hand all the way over to my thumb, and it was on both hands too. So that felt really weird. And that was only the second hottest we did because the hottest one was the last one, and that was the Reaper sauce, and that was 1 million Scoville.
Man, that is crazy.
Jumped up almost 3 times as
That is
much.
flipping hot. Now, wait, from what I saw in the video, so I didn't get to watch the video live. I think I was the only member that didn't get to jump on because it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, when you started. And I had a 12-hour shift the next day.
Sure.
But I got to watch it. I actually watched it today, so I would be fresh on it. And did you seriously switch the hot sauces? Like, do it out of order?
No, I didn't. I looked back, and I
okay.
didn't do it out of order.
Because you guys really reacted to the spontaneous combustion, was it? Or was it the next to last one you guys seemed to react to more?
The spontaneous combustion. Because what I bought stuff that was more, it was smaller, so it was more compact. There was more.
It was more potent.
I think it was extract. It wasn't just a sauce. So we were getting a lot of it.
You ate the extract? You're not supposed to eat that. Nobody just drinks vanilla extract. You put it into a mixture to make something super hot. You guys were crazy. And it was so funny to watch you guys. I was trying to work at the same time as watching / listening to the video. And when I just only listened to you guys, sounded like you were dying. You were just like you were about to have heart attacks. You were about to keel over dead. This is what it sounded like to me. It was, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I felt just like needles, just in my mouth.
And shout out,
in my throat.
Shout out to your buddy Chris,
insane.
because he said a lot at the beginning and throughout that he was not a hot sauce guy, and he was just like, "I'm not letting you beat me.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you beat me."
Yeah.
And he went
Was
through
not
that whole
about to.
thing. Mad props to your buddy Chris, because he also mad props to Chris because he was the guy that made the logo for our podcast.
Yeah.
For sure.
Chris is the man.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons,
I think
he's the man.
At the beginning, he said the Tabasco sauce was hot for him normally.
Oh man, I was laughing by myself oh, that guy's gonna die.
Rough night.
Yeah. But I mean, throughout the whole thing, it got progressively worse, obviously.
Yeah, it did.
But after about a half hour afterwards, I mean, we drank. I bought a half gallon of whole milk, and we just downed the entire thing within 5 minutes. And after we had that, and it was settling in our stomach, about a half hour afterwards, it was fine. Our throats and our mouth came down to earth, and it was fine until morning came.
Montezuma's revenge.
What is that? The fallout, right?
The fallout and it was worse.
Oof.
It was absolutely worse. Because there was 3 fallouts.
Literally,
there wasn't
the
just one.
fallouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There was Fallout 3. There was Fallout 4. There was maybe Fallout 76. Who knows?
Nice.
There's
pun.
a couple nukes in there too.
Oh man.
But
That's awful.
But yeah, it was fun. I wish the stream would have been consistent, so I didn't have to restart it every few minutes. I think I had to restart it maybe 3 times. It would have been more cohesive, but yeah, it was awesome. It was fun, doing it with my buddy in the chat in Twitch. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have to say, man. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I did that, and afterwards, I'm like, I'm never gonna do that again. But I mean, as long as I'm doing it with someone and we're having a good laugh about it, man, I don't know. I may do it again. It may go hotter. Who knows?
Well, I'll be honest. While I was watching it, even towards the end when you guys looked like you were going to burst into flame and die, I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if when I come visit next year, if we did a hot sauce challenge together?
I'm in.
That would be sweet.
And I'm out.
So, I mean, I like hot sauce, but man, I am so afraid of the fallout also, because there's been times I've eaten something and it wasn't too hot, but when it fell out, it was I don't know, it amplified its Scovilles within my stomach and intestines, and when it came out, man, oh man, I can't imagine a million Scovilles.
Yeah.
Falling
I took 4 antacids, took some Pepto Bismol.
I bet you did.
Just
injected it straight into your stomach, with a huge syringe,
You were much braver men than I, much dumber men than I, but braver men than I.
Yeah.
There's a thin
Wasn't
line
smart,
between the two.
but it was fun.
Well, you set the bar high, Pat.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's absolutely no way
So-
I would ever do anything like that. I No, just no. I can't stand. I'm a wimp when it comes to spicy stuff. So the fact that y'all went up to 1,000,000 Scoville, no.
Well, when we
10
do it together,
so we won't
Marc,
let you.
Marc, you can be the water boy if you want, the milk boy.
I see.
And
So
I see
when
what you did
we
there.
reach 10 reviews, we won't make you do the hot sauce challenge. We'll make you like set your Doctor Who DVDs on fire. Or something.
Joke's on you. I don't
Yeah,
have
that's
any
the thing
Doctor
I
Who
was-
DVDs.
Fine. Set your brain on fire. No, I'm just kidding. No. That's what I was thinking, though, Pat. Well, after I watched that, I'm like, man, he set the bar really high. We should have made that the 20th review challenge because I don't understand how we can get crazier than that or much crazier.
We'll figure it
But
out.
we'll figure something out. So, with that being said, the next milestone is 10 reviews, and I think it was kind of up in the air whether it was me or Marc, because you mentioned on the stream that it was me, but then I mentioned earlier that it was Marc. Marc, do you want to take the next one, or do you want me to take it?
I will step in the gap for you.
All right. So, once we get 10 reviews, and just to be clear, it is 10 reviews. We can get as many ratings as people are willing to give, but we need good old, written out, heartfelt reviews out there so that we can get Marc to do something crazy. And once we get those 10 reviews, Marc will throw out some ideas, and the people will vote, and then he will do it. And it will be crazy, and it will be good.
I think.
With that, we think,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
I think with that, Pat, since you shared about your hot sauce challenge, I think you should just roll it right into your what's new news in your life, your update, and then we'll just go from there. Share about what's been going on in life and the world.
Sure. On Tuesday, Ed Placencia and Sarah Placencia were driving through Cincinnati and decided to stop in for a bite
To meet
Jelly.
with the little people. Nice.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. He said that he was going to be driving back from Gatlinburg and going back home, and he had to drive through Cincinnati. And it was going to be during around dinner time, so it was a perfect time to stop and hang out for a couple hours. So that was kind of cool. We ate at this Incline Public House, and Lucas, I don't know if you know Incline Public House or anybody. I mean,
it
Ronnie
sounds like
Ronnie,
our resting home. Incline Public
so
House.
it is on top of one of the hills of Cincinnati, and you can see all of the city.
Really?
So it was nighttime. Everything was lit up. So I was like, you know what? They don't come through Cincinnati very often. Let's go to a place where they have a nice view. There's good food. And so I chose Incline Public House. We got there, and it was a nice night. It was clear, so you could see the entire city.
Nice.
So it was really nice. So we hung out for a couple hours, chatted it up, talked Married to the Games, talked to Good Morning Guys, talked about, Sarah, she didn't really know anything about the podcast, and she didn't know that you were from Brazil, or in Brazil right now.
Right.
So that was that's pretty cool when I say I'm on a podcast with a guy from Brazil.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
That's cool.
Telling that
Just a
story
little
is
bit of
pretty
name
cool.
dropping, country dropping.
Country dropping. Sounds heavy.
So yeah, so we did that on Tuesday, so that was neat. And then obviously Thanksgiving, I had a couple Thanksgiving feasts on Thursday. A Thursday morning, I went over to my in-laws' house. I had some breakfast, and then came home, chilled in the afternoon, and then went back over there for dinner.
Nice.
And then on Sunday we had Thanksgiving dinner with my side of the family, which was nice to get together and do that as well. I talked about the Hot Sauce Challenge, so that's what's going on with me. On the gaming front, obviously I've been playing
Been praying.
Red Dead.
I'm glad you're praying.
Been praying about Red Dead.
Praying.
And Overwatch, but I got this new game for VR called Beat Saber.
Oh, I've heard
I
good
don't know if
things
you
about that.
guys
I'm so
seen-
jealous. Man, I want a VR
It is-
so bad.
It is so. For those of you who haven't seen what Beat Saber is, imagine Rock Band or Guitar Hero when you have all those button presses that are coming towards you on the screen. You got to press them at the right time. Except this Beat Saber is the same thing. There's like boxes coming towards you, and you have to hit them at the right angle depending on what the arrow says on the box. But you're holding 2 move controllers in your hand that act as lightsabers.
So awesome.
And you need to slice these boxes as they're coming towards you to a song. And all of these are like not really well-known songs. I think these are like original songs for the game, but it's so much fun. Absolute blast. If anyone has a PSVR, this is the game to get. There's like 30 different songs, and there's all different variations to the songs. I mean, sometimes they'll play them fast, sometimes they'll play them slow. Sometimes the boxes, the arrows disappear, so you kind of need to remember what the arrows say before they actually get to you. It is just an absolute blast.
Patrick, do you feel like a rock and roll Jedi? Like Yoda has joined Queen, and he's like out there just like rocking it, like, because that's what it looks like. And I just imagine it's amazing.
If you've ever seen that GIF of Darth Vader dancing while he has a lightsaber in his hand,
I think
that's exactly the way it feels.
I think you posted that the other day, and that's what I imagine it to feel like. It looks so awesome.
Yeah. So that game's awesome. And then I also got a $25 PSN gift card, so I went ahead and bought, even though it had got horrible reviews and it's probably one of the worst games out there, I bought The Quiet Man, only because it just looks cool to me. The combination of the live action scenes and the gameplay.
It's a scary game, right?
I don't think it's scary. I think it sounds more like a suspense thriller kind of thing.
You haven't streamed it yet, right? Are you going to?
No, I plan on doing that probably Tuesday or Wednesday evening.
Cool. I will try to watch.
But yeah,
until if it gets scary, I'm out. But go ahead.
No, I don't think it's scary. It's not like it's Until Dawn or Rush of Blood or Resident Evil kind of scary. I don't think it is like that. I think it's like a crime kind of a game.
Not gonna lie, going back to Beat Saber real quick, when I heard people talking about that game and just seeing what the game's like and how excited people are about it, I'm not gonna lie, I started looking at prices for PSVR because
now's the time to get one. I think you can get one for like
$200, right?
$200.
Yeah. Yes,
with 2 games. Like I think it's Moss and Astrobot.
I've heard,
which apparently are 2 really good PSVR games. Like they're 2 of the best.
That may be something.
And what they said was Moss was like a 3D, like a VR Mario.
Nice.
Mario 64. So that would be straight up your alley. You should definitely, this week, while the Cyber Monday or Cyber Week is going on.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do it this
checking
week,
that out.
But maybe something in the future I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, that's it for me.
Nice.
How about you, Mark?
Mark, what do you...
How about me?
Yeah. Great minds.
So, obviously, as with many other Americans, celebrated Thanksgiving this past Thursday. Got to double dip Thanksgiving by...
Look at you.
Yeah. I got to go to my side of the family's house for lunch. So we had a nice time with my family. And then we drove an hour and a half to old North Kakalaki.
Getting that Kakalaki turkey.
Yeah. Spent
gobble gobble.
Gobble y'all. Gobble.
Gobble lacky yacky. I don't know how they gobble there. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
It's almost midnight here.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I went to my wife's family's house, her grandparents' house to be specific, and had dinner there. So it was a long day, but it was a good day. But before that,
did you?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you wear sweatpants?
I did not. I'm not that kind of a person.
Dude, you got to wear sweatpants when you do 2 Thanksgivings. It's a rule.
Apparently, I heard that like they did some sort of a poll that like 10 to 15% of people are willing to admit that they wear stretchy pants for like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. I heard it on the radio today,
Yes.
so it must be true.
Stretchy pants are a must.
But yeah, and before that, I actually I enjoy watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's always a fun experience for me. And the nice thing was like the fact that not a lot, but like a few, there were actually live singers. Usually, like everybody is lip syncing.
Really?
Yeah, usually everybody's lip syncing. Because not that they can't sing, but it's so impractical to have like a bunch of mics on floats and things like that. That would just be a nightmare for sound people. So you have to lip sync. But they did have 2 or 3 people that did not lip sync. They actually sang it live. Like I think Kelly Clarkson did her song live. Yeah, Pat. Kelly Clarkson.
Nice.
Love her.
That's his girl.
Dude, you don't even understand. This man is the ultimate fan of one Heartbeat song. When
Well, I think I saw him singing on the way to 300
Yeah.
for Married to the Games, his
Yeah.
300th episode, singing some Kelly Clarkson, rocking it out in the car.
Oh yeah, I wasn't just excited about 300. I mean, I was excited about Kelly Clarkson.
Of course.
Kelly Clarkson. But yeah, it was super enjoyable as always, and it's kind of crazy that they had like heavy winds, I guess, going on in New York, but they were still able to put on the parade with all those balloons and stuff. And apparently, one of the balloons almost blew away, which is kind of scary. But
Oh, that's like watching for a fight in hockey. I mean,
Yep.
you're looking for that. That's where the
Absolutely.
fun begins.
okay, if you have time, Google I believe it's the 1997 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade with the Barney balloon. That is horrifying and hilarious at the same time. So take the time and do that. So yeah,
Okay.
that was awesome. And then, like I said, we went out to eat. That weekend, we did some dog sitting. We went over to my sister's house. Her and her family went away for the weekend, and so we went over and took care of their husky, 1-year-old husky. Her name is Aspen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it further solidified why I don't want to own one of those dogs. She's
High energy.
Yes, very high energy, and
Yeah.
sheds like
They're
nobody's
very
business.
high energy. Yeah.
I believe we could have made at least 9 more dogs with the hair that she shed.
That's illegal. That's called cloning. You could make like a sweater or something out of it.
I
maybe,
couldn't
but I don't know
help
if you
it.
wanna
It's
make
just
a
like-
living dog.
I couldn't help it. You just like pet the dog, and it's just like clumps of hair.
Just come off on your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and she is very high energy, and my dog is absolutely nothing like that. My dog, my wife was saying that our dog is probably about the size of this dog's tail. So, yeah. And a
Your
lot
dog
more-
was high energy during our last podcast. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
only when people walk through the door.
Uh-huh.
After that,
And Cisco's got a mouth bigger than her size, I think, or his size.
yeah,
Her size.
yes, he does,
His-
and then he chills
his
out
size,
and he's
yes.
fine. But anyway, so we got to stay at my sister's house, which is a very nice house. So we did that most of the weekend, and then the embargo has lifted on the Boucher household for Christmas music. So we've officially
Nice.
started listening.
Get
to
them
Christmas
sleigh bells ringing and
Absolutely.
ding-a-ling too.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we haven't put decorations up yet because we haven't had the time to. But that is,
Blasphemy. Get those decorations up, young man.
I'm trying. I'm trying to fit in the time to actually do it, but we've been so busy with dog sitting and all that stuff. And then tonight we actually went out because my wife's birthday is on Wednesday. So we went out tonight just ourselves for dinner. We'll be going out with the family on Wednesday night on her birthday. So
Nice.
unfortunately, we didn't have time to put decorations up, and we've just been really busy. So
I'd wish her a happy birthday, but you've told us in the past she doesn't listen to the show, so...
Yes, it's true. I will tell her...
You can tell her I said happy birthday. Say my Brazilian friend said happy birthday.
I will tell exactly that. But, and last but not least, I got myself a little bit of an early Christmas present. Yeah, because...
you finally got your Doctor Who armoire cabinet thing?
Nope, that's still not here yet. That's kind of...
What? That's
kind of like Ronnie not watching Superman.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what's gonna happen first? You're gonna get the Doctor Who cabinet, or Ronnie's gonna watch Superman?
Yeah, we're gonna have to put some money on this.
Yeah, we are.
We'll get some squares going.
No. I got myself a little early Christmas bonus from work, and so
nice.
I got me an Apple Watch.
Heck yeah! Oh, nice.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Apple Watch.
How are you liking it so far?
I dig it. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and it's got a good amount of distance on it. Like, I had my phone sitting at the desk at work, and I was probably the other end of the building, and I was still able to get messages. And I didn't get the cellular version; it's just the regular GPS version that syncs to your phone.
Nice.
Now, Mark, did you put on the Power Rangers communicator sound on your watch?
No, I haven't done that yet, and I totally need to do that. Because
is that a real thing?
I hope it is.
I don't know.
I'm about to look in a little bit after the podcast and see if it is there, because I'm kind of bored with the single ding on my Apple Watch. So I was like, I wonder if I can change the ringtone or the alert tone on it.
Oh man, how excited will you be when all of a sudden you hear do 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 do?
Oh yeah.
I'll be like Zordon, and everybody around me will be like, what?
Zordon. That's fun.
But anyway, that is my week in a nutshell. On to gaming news. So there's a little bit of leakage going on Nintendo's part.
Ooh, that sounds like Patrick's weekend.
Yeah.
Flaming leakage.
Yeah, I think that's the quote
Look
from the
out.
episode right now.
Yeah.
Gross.
If we named our podcast other names other than our topic, it would definitely be episode 12, Flaming Leakage. Pat's Flaming Leakage.
Pat's weekend.
Oh no.
Just kidding. Never gonna happen.
Nope. But so unfortunately, due to some retailers in like Mexico and other places releasing a certain game, you may have heard of it, called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a couple of weeks early. Unfortunately, they've had some leakage going on. And
there it is again.
You really like that word, Mark. Every time you say that word, I do not think of video game news.
Leakage.
Maybe you need to use a different word.
It's kind of like the word moist.
Stop it.
Gosh.
Then combine the two. Moist leakage. Okay.
Oh no!
Come on. Ronnie, why would you say that? Stop it. Shut up, Ronnie.
I'm about to get out of here if we keep saying all these words.
But so
continue with the leakage.
Sadly, people have been putting this stuff all over the internet. They've been data mining all the code to sort of pull out whatever secrets they can find in the game, and have been posting it online. And Nintendo's not too happy about that.
I bet. Jeez.
Some people have actually been posting gameplay and stuff on YouTube, and Nintendo's like, nah, you're not doing that. Shut down. And they've been shutting down YouTube channels. They are pursuing the leaks, and so Mama ain't happy.
Other than gameplay, have there been any significant like spoilers or things they've given away that we didn't already know about?
Names of stages, cutscenes that we haven't seen yet. Stuff from the story.
Oh no, names of stages. Oh gosh.
Well, they're stages you can
jerks.
unlock, I'm pretty sure.
Jerks.
Heartless jerks.
Well, this coming from naming any actor that's on the show or not on a show considered as being a spoiler, and finding out stages in a game, to a lot of people is considered a
I
spoiler.
think he's referencing Walking Dead there, Patrick.
Yeah.
How you're behind and Ronnie's ahead. Do you remember that?
Well, see, no, that's story spoilers. If you say, "Hey, they're going to be out in the wilderness," it's like, no, duh. It's Walking Dead.
There's a Mushroom Kingdom zone. Oh no!
But
in the Walking Dead, that'd be awesome.
there
That's
are
a spoiler.
secret stages they haven't mentioned yet. That it's like, oh, okay, well now we know that's there. All that kind of stuff, and obviously story details because there is a story in the game.
That's a spoiler. No, people don't need to leak that stuff.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, people are stupid, and they do. So yeah, Nintendo ain't happy. But thankfully, we're not too far away from release. The launch date for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is December 7th. So that is it for gaming news for me. Ronnie,
well, you know what? Before Ronnie goes,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that if Nintendo were smart, they would just somehow find a way to, instead of just shutting it all down, because that's just so boring to just shut it down. They need to be like, that's fake news, or try to somehow just kind of throw off the people instead of making it. They're making it obvious that it's true information. So with that in mind, Patrick, you're a professional at fake news and real news, aren't you? I think you could teach them a thing or two about doing that kind of stuff.
They call me the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news.
That is what they call you.
So
that's at least what Lucas calls you.
Speaking of judges, Jerry Springer is coming back to TV as Judge Jerry.
Fake news.
Just like Judge Judy.
Fake news. That's not real, is it?
Yeah, I don't.
It's real news.
What?
Oh my gosh.
That is real news.
Jerry
No
Springer's
way.
like the Swiss Army knife of everything.
Jerry.
I'm
Really
pretty
is.
sure at
Judge
least
Jerry.
Judy Scheinlin has a law degree of some sort, or that she was, some sort of credentials for being a judge. I don't think Jerry's.
I can't imagine Jerry Springer going to law school for this show. It's got to be some.
He went on the
I don't know,
internet. He printed it off Google. He typed in law degree and just photoshopped his name in there. It's not real.
Yeah, it's real news.
I know.
but
Yeah, it's real
also,
news.
He's going to be judging fake news.
It's real pathetic
gosh.
news, is what it is.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
goodness.
Do you guys watch Judge Judy just out of curiosity?
I used to.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I always feel like I'm in trouble like watching that show. Like I'm
she's-
starting to get anxiety because she's like roughing up the other people, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, but it felt like she was actually looking at you. Like she
Yeah,
was
exactly
looking
right.
into your dirty soul, like you had broken some law.
You know what's
Even if
funny?
you had-
Her husband is the same way. Her husband is Jerry Scheinlin. If you've ever heard of the People's Court.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's her husband?
heard of it.
That's her husband.
I had no idea. They monopolized judging TV. I don't even know what you call that. Law TV?
I guess.
That whole People's Court, Judge Judy. I mean, who else was there? It was just the two of them, right?
There's Judge Joe Brown.
That's right. I forgot about
That's right.
Joe Brown.
That's right.
Old Joey
Can you imagine
Brown.
arguments in that household? Just two judges going back and forth. That'd be awful.
Oh, that would be
They're like
so
the
tense.
Jedi Knights of arguing.
They are. I would be confessing everything, and they'd be
Oh,
like,
man,
"We weren't
I'd
even
give up
talking
right
to
away."
you. Shut up and sit down." I'm sorry.
Get out of my courtroom.
Any other
All
fake
right,
news,
the,
real news?
Second news story. Venom has made more money at the box office than Wonder Woman.
Real news.
Real news.
Fake news.
Real news.
It's real news.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
It's actually made
real
more
news.
money
Sorry,
than
Wonder
Spider-Man
Woman.
did.
Fake.
Yeah, they did. They
Fake
made
news.
I knew I saw that.
$822 million at the box
Wow.
office. 610 of that is overseas.
Yeah. Not a big surprise with
huge
the overseas money. Well, that's like movies like what is that movie with the big robots
Transformers?
and the monsters?
Oh,
No.
Pacific Rim?
There's that. Yes, Pacific Rim. That actually got a sequel because of the international box office. Like they kept that alive. Domestically, that did little to nothing in the U.S. back in the day, but internationally, it was huge.
Wasn't a
And
bad
they had
movie,
the
though.
second one, which was, yeah, but the second one wasn't a good movie, was it? I didn't watch it, but
Yeah, I
it
haven't
looked,
seen it.
It was like the David Hasselhoff of movies.
Actually, it looked like it would have been a better movie if David Hasselhoff was in it. Like, what's his face from the new Star Wars movies? The Black Stormtrooper. I don't know his real name, but Flynn.
It's like Finn.
John Boyega?
John Boyega. He's in it, and he uses his real voice. And before that, watching the preview for that movie, I had no idea that he was British. And then he spoke with his accent, and I was like, what? Blew my mind.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
Like all these British actors and actresses, like
House.
Andrew Lincoln.
And House from the Doctor show many years ago. He's British. Yeah,
that's crazy. The Andrew Lincoln, Rick from Walking Dead.
Yeah,
he's got that Southern country accent, and he's British.
Oh, you have to hear him talk. Crazy. It's ridiculous.
Wow, that's weird.
It throws you for a loop.
Looks like somebody's talking for him.
Yeah, that is so weird. But anyways, that's crazy about Venom overtaking Wonder Woman and Spider-Man.
Right.
Props to Venom.
The last fake news, real news I have is the trailer of The Lion King live-action remake was the most viewed trailer of all time within the first 24 hours.
Fake news.
I think that could be real, man. Lion King's big.
I'm going to go fake news just because of the percentages. You haven't done a fake news.
It is fake news.
Oh, man.
It is the second highest. The highest one was Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War. Marvel.
But yeah, I don't know. Have you seen the trailer for The Lion King?
So good.
My eyes were sweating half the time.
There's actually like a shot for shot. If you actually look, there's a comparison of the original Lion King trailer
really cool.
plus the new one.
Yep.
But
I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble, but this live action remake, they're still animated.
Yeah, it's all CG.
What? They didn't train those animals to do that? Fake news. Those are real animals. No, but it looked incredible. I mean,
it does.
I think it's going to be I really like how Disney's cashing in on their classic movies, and I think to this point they've done an excellent job with their live-action remakes of their classic cartoon movies. But I can't see how they're going to do this one any differently. Like, I feel like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, like they tweak the stories a lot. But with this Lion King, they don't need to tweak it. They just need to do it, and it's going to be awesome, and people are going to love it.
True story.
I'm excited about it. It's going to be good. So, Ronnie, I need you to tell me something good, like you watched Superman.
Nice.
Come on, tell us.
That's beautiful.
Batting to the 3-hole here today. No, I didn't.
Golly, man, come on.
I got to be honest. I
6 times in a row.
I completely ignored it this week and didn't even think about it. I've actually got a piece of mail over top of it right now at my house, so I'm going to blame it on that.
Blame it on the mail. Blame it on the mail. All right.
So while I wasn't watching Superman...
Very bad Milli Vanilli
That was
song.
nice.
Oh, that was so good. Keep going.
The funny thing is, it wasn't even Milli Vanilli.
I don't know where to go from
They
there.
weren't actually singing it.
Yeah.
So other than not watching Superman, what I did do is I had Thanksgiving for with the family. And I don't know about you guys, but like it is one of my favorite holidays. Like
It really is.
You just go like hang out with your family, you eat awesome food.
Yeah.
This year was the first year, in fact, since I got divorced, I don't have to go anywhere else. I went to one place for the whole day and just ate, napped, then napped again, and I was just at the same place. And it was at my aunt's
you were
house.
at the table in your sweatpants. You just fall asleep, wake up,
exactly.
Eat some more.
I didn't wear my sweatpants. I wore my fat jeans. I wanted to look classy.
Nice.
But it was at my aunt's house this year, and she lives in the same neighborhood as me. So 2 streets down. It was awesome. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard the Jerry Seinfeld skit about the Halloween candy, or about him stealing candy from his grandparents, makes him feel like a kid again. I always feel like that on Thanksgiving. So I'll be sitting there and my grandma walks up. She's like, "Oh, do you need a piece of, you want some dessert? What do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do, Grandma. I need it."
Grandma's other
So it's everybody's waiting on you like you're a kid again. So
yeah,
it's just
true.
It's a weird it's just a weird thing. I did not play any volleyball this week, which is surprising.
What?
It's been the first
Are
What?
you
no
sick?
volleyball week.
Are you sick?
Well, I stopped my Monday league that I was playing in, the leagues. Obviously,
Leagues.
that's why I'm here right now. We're recording on a Monday night.
Spoilers.
So I didn't do any of that, but I'm about to dive back in Friday and Saturday. So
snap.
later in the week, I'll injure myself again, I'm sure.
Conveniently. Probably so you can play Red Dead Redemption some more.
Yeah, that would be. I don't know. I don't know if I could play it any more than I already do. It's just one of those games it's completely consuming.
You gonna play Red Dead Online?
So, I'm definitely gonna do
Nice.
that. Definitely gonna do that. That sounds really fun. I think it was Patrick that was saying that's like this Friday or something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
beta.
So yeah, the Ultimate Edition owners can play it on Tuesday, and then I think if you played it in the weekend, then you can play it on Wednesday, and then if you played it in the first month, you can play it
Well,
on
good
Thursday,
gracious,
and
that
then
sounds complicated.
everybody else plays it on Friday. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get like the smallest amount of people possible
They're trying to stagger
in the
it so they
servers.
don't
testing.
overload the servers.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
That makes sense.
But hopefully it's a little bit better than what Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if you remember the launch of that, but it was a train wreck going into that launch of Grand Theft Auto Online. And the first few weeks, it was a
Now
struggle.
that launched.
So-
the online launched on PS3 though, right?
It launched with the game, I think.
Right, but I'm saying because Grand Theft Auto 4 was a PS3/PS4 game. When online launched, it was only on PS3 at that time, so it makes complete sense that it was a train wreck because PS4 wasn't out yet. So
Oh yeah, it was
PS3's
on,
infrastructure was terrible, so it really made sense why it failed. So now it being on PS4, I'd imagine they've learned their lesson from Grand Theft Auto Online, and they're on a better system launching it. Or were you saying that when it launched on PS4, it was a train wreck?
No, when it launched on PS3 and 360, when
Okay.
it wasn't working. I mean, people were getting kicked off the server, and there was a lot of
Right.
glitches. It was slow. Some things weren't loading, and it happened for the first few weeks. And I tried it for the first few weeks, and then I kind of fell out of it. Never went back to it. And obviously, Grand Theft Auto Online is one of the biggest online games out there right now. It's still going.
Yeah, it is. It's a silent beast.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually think Red Dead is going to be a lot like that because there's so many similarities between the two games. It is certainly just a vast game. I think people will probably play it for a long time, like they do Grand Theft Auto.
For sure.
But other than that, I actually may be buying a new TV and sound bar.
There you go.
So the funny thing about this is I have a TV that's 5 or 6 years old. It's a 50-inch TV. I don't know what it is, if it's LCD or plasma or whatever. But my buddies are always complaining about this TV, that they can't see it. So they'll be sitting down in front of the TV like little kids, while we're playing video games. So they always complain that the TV's not good, I can't see anything, which is really an excuse for me raking them at every video game we're playing.
Whatever works, man.
That's just that's used. But I've been talking to people about TVs, and everybody has their own brand of TV that they're loyal to. It's like a car, right? People are like, oh, I buy these or I buy these. So I'm just curious, what is your guys' brand?
I
Or
only
do you
do Ford TVs.
Ford
TVs.
Chevy TVs like a rock.
Like a rock. I love watching a good rock.
But I've found that people will defend their brand of TV just like people do with cars. It's just kind
They
of
will.
a funny little observation.
You get those people that are subscribed to Consumer Reports, and they're just like, well, I read in this article, and this is the best one. If you don't get this one, you're an idiot. It's like, geez, politics, TV, religion.
Yeah.
You can't talk about
TV.
those things. Can't talk about those things with some people.
I like my LG TV, so
I've heard good things about LG.
No, I'm not loyal. I go through TVs. I got a Sony. I got a Vizio, Toshiba, Senyo.
Good gracious!
I've-
How many TVs do you have?
No, I only have 3 TVs, but I've gone through in the
I
house.
only
But
have
I've
3
gone.
TVs. Look at me, 3 TVs. Mm.
This isn't the 1950s.
Oh, I'm sorry. Poor little missionaries here. Just one TV, okay? Just rub it in,
Makes
salt
me
in the
think of-
wound.
makes me
No, I'm
think of
just
Back
kidding.
to the Future.
Next
Whoa,
time
look
you're
at
in the United States, I'll get you one of those 65-inch $200 TVs you can take home with you.
Now, don't say it unless you mean it. I'll take you up on that.
Sell it for quadruple the price.
Exactly. Buy a house, buy a mansion in Brazil. No, Ronnie, to answer your question, for me, the Best Buy is what I go for. Not like the store Best Buy, but the Best Buy I can find for the quality of TV. So I'll pretty much try to cross-reference what's the best price for the best quality of television. I have a Sony Bravia, I think, from 2011. I have a 7-year-old TV. It's kind of old, but it works great. I love it. And when it dies, I'll probably try to convince my wife to get a 4K TV. I doubt it'll happen, but I'm going to shoot for the stars or shoot for the moon, whatever, and still get like a good TV in the process. So, but I don't have brand loyalty myself.
My two buddies are pitching like the same exact TV. It's like a Sony. It's like Sony 850, I think. Like the 65 inch is the one I'm going to get. It's like $1,000. It's not a cheap TV, but I guess for that price, it's like the best possible TV you can get.
Yeah.
I got a message today.
Is it 4K?
I don't know.
Yeah, you need to. I would say to future-proof
I don't know
yourself,
anything about it. I believe it is 4K, but I don't know.
You need to definitely get 4K.
Yeah.
Just
for $1,000, I should be getting at least 4K. I feel like
you should at least get 3K
I haven't-
for $1,000.
I haven't bought a TV in. I can't even remember the last TV I bought. Like this was a hand-me-down TV that I have now.
Nice hand-me-down. I was going to ask if you found it on the street.
Yeah, it's had to have been like at least like 7 years or 8 years since I've ever bought a TV.
Me too.
I mean, it works for me. I don't mind. But when people come over, I guess that have good TVs, they're like, "Man, your TV sucks."
Oh wow!
Like we can't see anything.
You got
Thanks,
some
friend.
Great friends.
I'm
you
getting
got
bashed
there.
about this TV.
Some good friends.
You don't have to stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to come over here and eat my food. Yeah, but then one of my friends said, like, don't all single guys have like big TVs? And I was like, I don't know, do they? So now I'm really feeling backed into a corner about having to buy this TV. Everybody's expecting it.
I think instead of getting a new TV, you need some new friends.
Ooh.
It could be. It could be.
If they listen, if they listen
exactly
to the show,
right.
Nothing personal, friends of Ronnie. I love you.
I feel like they're like your entourage. They come over, just eat your food, watch your TV.
We're like, what is this crap
You know
we're
what's
watching?
funny?
Pass me a sandwich.
You know what's funny is it is kind of like that. They just come over and just hang out and sit and watch TV. Like the other night, like one of my buddies came over and he's on his like little Nintendo, what's it called?
Switch?
Like little Nintendo Switch, and he's playing like a Pokemon game, and I'm just sitting there playing Red Dead, and we're not actually talking to each other. We're just sitting there playing games like in our own worlds. And it's like, why are you
It's
here?
like, go home.
What is it? What are you doing here? But no, I'm. They've also been pitching this sound bar, the Sonos sound bar. Just I guess the whole like system or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely really pricey, but apparently it is worth it. Do you guys have one of those?
I have a couple sound bars, one for my basement, one for my living room, and yeah, they're so much better than the speakers for any TV. The TVs nowadays they don't build speakers into the TVs that are any good anymore. Probably the ones that are more expensive maybe, but I mean they're like the small.
Are you serious at all? They don't put any speakers in the TVs?
Well, the speakers are like
corners there,
like
are we?
Mono, crap,
Yeah.
sounds like an echo,
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
true.
You need a sound bar if you want quality sound anymore.
It's true.
In TVs.
Well, and they were telling me too, because like I have like just a Bluetooth speaker that I like play music from, like when I'm here, and I guess you could just Bluetooth like your phone to the sound bar. So basically, you can at any time you want just kind of turn it on and like play music from your phone, which
Nice.
that definitely sounds pretty cool. But other than that, that's pretty much it for me. Lucas, how about you? How was your week?
I also, even though I was in
Bought a
Brazil,
TV.
I also celebrated Thanksgiving. And
All right.
it was more or less amazing. Not trying to hit on my, my family or anything, but you can only get so far celebrating an American, I almost said festival, American holiday in another country. Like, it's hot here. and there's nobody else around you celebrating Thanksgiving. Like, they talk about Thanksgiving, but, and I will say, like Ronnie mentioned, it was nice. I didn't have to go to multiple locations. I could just stay in one place and eat, take a nap, eat, hang out with family, eat. It was amazing. Unfortunately, I did not get turkey this year. I was a little bummed. They were not able to find a turkey in any of the grocery stores they went to. So we had a very large chicken. They call it a Chester. It's a large rooster that has been castrated, and then they fatten it up and then cook it. Good times. Well, they kill it. We cook it.
All right.
But you know what's really like salt in the wound is the very next day we went to the grocery store to replenish, because obviously it's Thanksgiving, so we ate everything in the house. We had to go back to the grocery store to buy more groceries for the following week. And what did we find in the frozen section? Turkey. Are you kidding me? The day after Thanksgiving, and you're going to just flaunt turkey in my face after I had to eat chicken? I mean, it was good chicken. I will not knock my mother-in-law, father-in-law. They made an excellent array of foods. My wife, they all three worked together in our little kitchen, and we had mac and cheese. I, of course, provided the cranberry sauce from a can, smooth as God made it to be.
Ugh,
I love it when you get that, when you squeeze it out of the can, and it's like that inverted slosh, like, and it gloop, and it gloops onto the table. I love that sound. That sound automatically makes me think of Thanksgiving. But it was excellent, of course.
That sound makes me think of pooping.
Whoa! What kind of poops do you have, man? That sounds like that. You need to see a.
I thought we were using the term. "falling out" earlier.
Yeah, we were.
To not reference pooping.
Yeah.
Which is worse, by the way. Pooping is way better than falling
Marc,
out.
I think you need to see a doctor about that. So, anyways, besides Thanksgiving this past week, I took my kids out on some dad dates and took them to the mall. One on, I think, Wednesday, and one on Thanksgiving morning, and it was a good time. We went to a little pretzel place, had some pretzels. I took them into a very large toy store, and now it might sound like really mean, because I took them into the toy store with the understanding that they were not going to buy anything. But with that idea in mind, it was almost freeing for my children, because we just went in and we played with all the toys. Like, them knowing that they weren't going to buy anything, we were just those people that went in and we found like the toys that made sounds, and I taught them how to push all the buttons at one time so that the whole row is making a bunch of noise. Like, to this point, I hadn't done that with my kids yet, and I used to do that all the time as a kid. My dad didn't do that with me, and my kids, they don't know to do that. So I was like, I got to educate you kids on how to make the most out of a toy store. And so we did that. Both of my kids, I did kind of like a psychological study with my kids, and we found the toy Simon. Did you guys play that growing up? The 4-color game.
Yep.
Where you got to hit, I think it's yellow, red, green, blue. Yeah. My kids, not natural with Simon. Like, they were the worst. Like, the legged gun girl in Broforce, they were worse than her. They were the worst. It was so bad.
Oh,
and I filmed it. I haven't shamed them publicly. I'm not going to put it on social media like some parents like to do for their kids. But it was so bad. Like, I set them up to it, and I just let them do it naturally. Like, I turned it on, and I said, okay, play Simon. And they started pressing the buttons, and they could not figure it out. Like, my daughter, she would always hit the first one twice, and I think it's because it lit up twice, and she interpreted it as she needed to hit the button twice, and she did it over and over and over again. Like, she didn't figure it out on her own, so I had to show her. And after I showed her, she got it, and it was good. And then my son, we did the same thing. I said, here, son, my kids are 5 and 8 years old, so they're old enough they should be able to figure it out. And my son, instead of hitting the first one twice, he kept hitting the last one that would light up. And it was so weird to see how they both reacted in a different way with the game, and how they both epically failed. But thankfully I was able to show them, and they picked up on it. And it was just really cool to kind of show them a game that I grew up playing. And that was just fun. And then we just went around and, we tried on all the hats, like funny hats and toys, and played with toys. It was a good time. Also, during this time, I was reminded at how I am also the worst. My kids are not the only ones who are the worst. I am also the worst at working from home during vacation. When my family is here, for those that don't know, I'm a missionary. I do work and go to different churches, but for the most part, I do most of my work at home. And so when my family's off on vacation, I am the worst. I do not get any work done. And on the one hand, it's nice for my family because I'm not distracted. I'm not one of those workaholic dads that like shuts the door and says, I'm going to be here for the next 6 hours, so leave me alone. But on the other hand, I don't get anything done. And like all my emails and all my messages from, church leaders and people that I need to talk to, it builds up for like a whole week. And I get a little stressed. But, what are you going to do? I'm still working on it. So if anybody has some pointers or some suggestions for working from home with your family, feel free to connect with me and let me know. I know that Ed Placencia works at home, and he's tried to give me some pointers like doing power hours, but I am terrible. Have you guys had any experience with that? Working from home?
I have never worked from home, actually. I'm a little hesitant. Like, it sounds like a good idea, but I also know that like at home, I think there's just more distraction, so it takes a lot more discipline to work from home, which I kind of like the idea of going into the office for a certain amount of time, and you know what I mean? You're there to work, and that's really like the only thing you can, that's the only thing you can do. Whereas at home, I mean, I feel like I would be just wandering all over the place doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I work from home a couple times, and I just shut myself downstairs into the basement, turn on Netflix, and get my laptop out. Man, I am so productive.
Really?
When I'm just sitting here, because when I'm at the office, there are so many people that come into my office to ask me questions or whatever, and it's just because I have 11 people that report to me, and all different with personalities, all different questions and experiences. So they continually come to me, and additionally, I have managers that come to me as well. So when I am home, I get so much more work done because I have less distractions. Plus, my kids are in school. I haven't taken a day off where my kids aren't in school yet. So like you, Lucas, if my kids were home, wife was home, I think it'd be kind of hard to do that if I didn't have my basement.
Yeah, I've never really had a job. I've never really had a job where I could do that, where I could stay home. I guess maybe some of my church responsibilities, administrative stuff with doing the worship and youth ministry. I guess you could call that working at home, but not really for the most part. I've never really had that opportunity. It's all stuff I have to do at work.
Yeah, and I kind of knew going into things when we moved. One of the churches that we were going to be a part of, or that we are a part of, they had said that they would have an office area for me, but we only have one car right now, and it takes a good 45 minutes to an hour to take the bus and get to and walk to the church and get there. I think I do need to like maybe pick a day or two every week and just make myself have office hours there. And that might help, because sometimes I think for me, I get easily distracted. Like, I have video games here. I have social media. Like, there's always someone to talk to on Twitter or text to or whatever. There's always someone to talk to and distract me from what I need to, do. So I probably need to kind of break it up sometimes and get a different locale. But besides that, work and family time, I've kind of slowed down a little bit on the classic Nintendo challenge. I'm definitely not giving up whatsoever. I've gotten through 8 games, so I've completed 8 of 51 games so far. But Ghost and Goblins almost broke me this past week. Oh man, I praise the Lord. I don't know. God has nothing to do with it. I shouldn't belittle his amazingness by saying praise the Lord for this, but really, I was so thankful that I discovered with my it's not a Pro controller, but one of those Wii controllers that has like a home button on it, and you can use those on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo Classic. I was so happy to discover that I could reset the game, like reset the Nintendo, using that controller instead of having to get up and hit the reset button on the console. That's the only way I was able to survive with Ghosts and Goblins, because I had to reset that game so many times. So many times. I got to areas where it was just like every 2 seconds I was restarting because I would get hit and die, get hit and die, get hit and die. There are some bosses. There are some bad guys that are crazy ridiculous. After some time, I figured out how to kill them, but it took a lot of work. So with that, I decided to get back into some modern gaming, as I alluded to last week and had talked to you guys about. I did get the plat in Burly Minute C. You know, that game that so many people are playing right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much about that. Just some fat guys on the sea. It's like a adventure game where you just kind of choose your path. It's nothing really complicated. It's very much an indie game, a smaller game. But it's a really easy plat. It was a nice, relaxing game to play. And then also with Rayman Legends, I am less than a week. So this time next week, I will be celebrating the platinum on Rayman Legends, which is no small feat.
Nice.
And then finally, I am completely and unashamedly addicted to Spider-Man. Like 110% addicted.
Nice.
I am so loving Spider-Man right now. And it's not just me. My kids are loving Spider-Man along with me. What
do you love about it?
The joy of not flying, he doesn't fly. Swinging through the city as Spider-Man. I didn't realize how great that would feel. It's so easy to do, and yet it's so easy that, tonight my kids and I were playing, and I just gave the controller to my 5-year-old, and within a couple minutes he was, he was falling sometimes and hitting some walls, but for the most part he was able to swing through the city, and he was loving it. He's like, I'm Spider-Man, just swinging through the city. My daughter, she's 8, she did it too, and the controls are easy enough that you could do it, but when I'm doing it, it gives you extra button pushes and different things and movements to where you feel like you're a pro after a few minutes once you get it, and you swing through the city. And I found myself doing, I don't know if you guys have played video games with people where they move their hands, move their body with the controller, it's actually going to help. But I find myself while I'm playing Spider-Man, when I swing a certain direction, I'll lean with it. And I'll move my hands with it. And I know it's not doing anything, but I feel like I'm swinging through the city. I didn't think that I would connect to it as much as I have. I can only imagine playing that game in VR, but it's just been really cool. And then along with that, the superhero fighting, as we've talked about with Spider-Man, he's just such a lovable character. And the jokes he makes, and just the game itself. I'm not super far into it, partly because I've already collected 40 backpacks, and I've taken pictures of 10 different landmarks. It takes me forever to get to the next mission because I'm just collecting all the little collectibles. Got to get that plat, So So that's been my gaming. But you know what? It got me to thinking about games nowadays. On one hand, I think for those of us that grew up watching the cartoons and reading comics, that video games and movies are totally bringing our childhood dreams to life. And it got me to thinking about how kids nowadays, they have little to no room possibly for imagination because they don't have to think of it. They don't have to pretend. It's all right there in front of them. Back in our day, video games and TV were so limited that we had to take it to the next level. And most of the time we did that in our backyard with our friends. Or when it rained, we did that in our house. It was all we needed was our imaginations. I think today's tech, video games, TV, they're amazing, but do you guys ever wonder if kids are missing out on the wonders and glories of the backyard life, of the neighborhood life, Did you guys have much of that growing up? Did you guys have a backyard life?
Some.
A little bit. Patrick, Ronnie, did you guys
Oh yeah.
have backyard life?
I would take my bike everywhere.
Yeah. Ronnie, how about you?
Yeah, same with me. I rode my bike. I had a couple buddies on my street. We were always riding back and forth to each other's houses. But just, doing everything outside.
Well,
so much different than today.
I'm glad to hear that then, because that brings us to our topic of the day. Backyard and school activities and sports, baby. So let's jump right into our topic today, guys. Why don't you share about your backyard life, share some stories, share some of your favorite and least favorite games and activities. And I think we should start with Ronnie. Tell us. You were already kind of alluding to it. Tell us about that backyard life.
Are we doing our best and worst, or are we doing all best then all worst? We maybe should have aired this out before, but just want to make sure.
Mix it up. We'll just talk about it. See where it goes.
All right. So
Surprise us.
Best backyard sports. First one for me is definitely wiffle ball. Like,
Oh yeah.
man, like basically everybody can play wiffle ball.
It's
like,
true.
You know, almost all ages. And the best part about wiffle ball is with a little bit of skill, which is what I have, a teeny tiny amount of skill, you can still rake the rest of your family when you're out there.
Not only can you rake them,
with a little bit of
you can beat them with the bat if they get out of line.
That's exactly right. With a little bit of skill.
All right, now, so are you playing wiffle ball with the skinny yellow bat or the big red fat bat?
Oh, red fat bat all the way.
Neither. I have a Ken Griffey Jr. replica bat.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, snap. You're using a real bat
Yeah.
to hit the wiffle ball.
It's plastic, but it's like the shape of an actual major league
nice.
baseball.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But I am totally the guy out in wiffle ball to, like, you know, stare down the home run and give the big bat flip and then berate my 12-year-old cousin who was pitching while I'm going around the bases. That's totally me. And
Nice.
wiffle ball, like, our family still plays wiffle ball even now that we're all older. You know, we still get everybody together out there and play wiffle ball. And we recently adopted kickball, which is actually pretty much, it's a better game all around for like people of all ages. It's like there's some younger kids and stuff, and it basically allows all of them to be able to play. Cause
It doesn't take as much
less skill to be able to at least kick the ball.
You don't need as much eye-hand coordination between the bat and the ball and the air and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get, like, you know, younger kids out there. They can still be involved in the game and all that stuff. And as a bonus of kickball, you get to throw the ball at your family members.
Yes.
So
Take it all out on
So there's that.
Hit him in the face.
You know.
What is that? Meet the Parents style?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, he
spikes the ball in the family member's face. Yeah, you could totally do that.
I don't know
With
why,
kickball.
but my,
Yeah, I mean,
my
when we're
thought
out there-
process went straight to Karate Kid. Put him in a body bag.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, depends on who's rolling around the bases and how hard you're going to throw it. If it's one of my cousins who's like the same age as me,
Oh.
man, I am raring back
Yeah.
and launching it.
Destroying
But if it's
them.
my grandma, though, you know, I'll take 10% off.
Oh, of
Throw
course.
80%, but
Of course.
you know, I want to make sure I
Don't
get it.
want to overdo it. You want her to offer you that pie later. Oh, there it is.
Hey, Marc, yeah,
Take
woo.
your medicine,
920,
Marc.
guys. 920.
9:20.
No, it's not. It's
Um,
12:20.
So no, we have had a ton of fun with kickball. So like we've kind of adopted. It almost went straight to kickball and kind of left wiffle ball in the dust because like everybody can play kickball. It's just a really good.
Well, I
time.
have to drop in just a moment, Ronnie, just to not be redundant. I was also going to bring up kickball, and I have to confess that I'm the worst at kickball. I kick like a girl. Well, I kicked like a girl. I haven't actually played kickball in a long time, but we played kickball in the backyard. We also played kickball in our school during middle school. During lunchtime, you would eat lunch as fast as humanly possible, and you would run to the gym so you could play kickball or watch the two different teams play kickball. And I always dreaded when we played because I could not kick worth anything. I never got the whole concept of like stiffening my foot and legs so that I would create more of a punch, you know? Like all of a sudden I would just swing my leg and it's like I lost all my feeling or I had a prosthesis leg and it would just be like, you know, Octodad or whatever, just like flopping his leg at the ball. It was awful. On the other hand, while I didn't know my wife, shout out to my wife, she did mention that she was a champion at kickball and she loved it very much. And that's why I married her. Because I knew she was.
Somebody's got to pick up the slack.
Exactly, she's better than I am. She had to pick up the slack. So, but I still appreciate kickball.
I've adopted the kick with like the very top of my foot, just like angle it down so that I can control where the ball goes.
Okay.
That seems to work the best for me.
Nice.
But we're usually playing barefoot too, so it hurts.
It does, but you can get more
Especially
control.
if you use a real kick.
Well, you know, I like kicking
Yeah.
a football with my bare foot as opposed to shoe. I feel like I get better hit.
Man, I feel like that would destroy my foot.
Oh, it does. It turns very red, and it hurts. It kind of feels like the inside of Patrick's throat after he ate that spontaneous combustion, but it's worth it.
Nice.
Sometimes winning's
That's
painful.
right.
So my two worst that I have, the first one is soccer. For basically the reason we just explained, because I am so uncoordinated when it comes to soccer. Like, I can't get it. Like, it's just it's like I have little cousins and stuff, and they all play soccer, and they are just running circles around me. Like, I can't control the ball for anything with my feet.
I'm with you.
Do we have any soccer players on this podcast? Did anybody play?
No.
I'm the same
Not
with
at
you,
all.
Ronnie.
Oh.
I played so many different
So hard.
sports, and I just, for whatever reason, I am so uncoordinated when it comes to trying to kick a ball.
I almost end up like stepping on it, and it's just so bad.
Yeah. I actually played in the what I like to call the amoeba leagues back in the day when I was like 5 or 6 years old. If you're not familiar with soccer when you're a little kid or the amoeba leagues, that's when all the kids just kind of huddle around the ball and then they just move with the ball as one massive like child amoeba. And that's what it is, because nobody goes to a position. Nobody knows what they're doing. They're 5, 6, 7 years old. And they literally just kick each other's shins. Like, they just kick each other.
Jeez.
It's
Kicked a
awful.
little
I don't
too
know.
high there.
Oh, it was awful. And that was my first and last experience with playing any kind of coordinated soccer. Like, here in Brazil, I have totally resisted because I have flashbacks of when I was 5, 6 years old playing soccer. I was terrible at it, and I got kicked in the shin so many times, I hated it. And so I just equated it to soccer. So I'm with you guys. Mark, how about you? You a soccer player, buddy?
No, I am not. Of all of us here, I would venture to say that I am the least sports-oriented person here. I did play sports when I was a kid. I'll have you know that I had my own baseball card when I was like 7. So,
Look out.
Oh, look out.
just saying. Granted,
Look out,
my
baby.
parents had to pay for that card, and anybody could have gotten it. But, I had my own baseball card. Yeah, I was part of a little league team when I was a kid. And I did that for a couple of years. And of course, you have your gym class and stuff where you take part in stuff like kickball and volleyball and stuff like that. But sports was so much not my thing. It was something I didn't enjoy doing. It was something I wasn't really good at. But I certainly played outside. Like, I did my fair share of biking and stuff like that. And obviously being from the New England area, there's a fair amount of snow play going on.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, I would dig snow tunnels in my yard, my front yard, and all that kind of stuff. So I guess you could call that a sport. I seem to recall this one memory of sort of, and this is a testament to how much of a jerk kid I could be, or at least the fact that I was following a jerk kid. The fact that we basically lured this kid over to play video games with us, and then we lured him outside so that we could like pelt him with snowballs and basically beat the crap out of him with snowballs.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, bullies.
And unfortunately, my friend took it a little too far. He happened to pee in a snowball and chucked it.
Oh, no.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. He peed in the snowball, and he also picked it up.
He picked it up first.
He lost.
Then peed in the.
Oh, wait, I don't understand how that works. How does it not just melt into a big pile of pee in your hand? Like, did he like pee and then pinch it off and throw the snowball and then get another one? And then
I
You can't pinch it off.
Like, how does that work? I don't want to know how that works. I shouldn't ask that question. Edit that out.
That's the worst.
that is definitely the worst. Man, he peed in a snowball. What a rotten kid.
But yeah.
Rotten is the nice way of saying it.
That's an automatic loss right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, but it happened. But in any case, so there's a fair amount of snow sports, I did some snowboarding.
Snow sports. Snow bullying. Bullying is now a sport.
Hey,
no, that's an activity.
Olympic medal in it. Snowboarding. Snowbullying.
So, but other than soccer, my last one, and I actually enjoy this game, but I'll tell you why it's bad. Do you guys play cornhole?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've played it.
Love it.
All right, just making sure. Yeah, it is a great game, but the reason it's the worst sport is because we all have that uncle, right, who's bad at everything else, but in cornhole, he has money in the bank every time.
And the more he drinks, the better he gets.
Oh, he's like putting 3 to 4 the whole every time, and you're like just trying to hang on.
I had an uncle like that with horseshoes.
Oh, man, I remember playing horseshoes when I was a lot younger, and I got totally dominated by all the older men.
It's true.
Those guys have all transitioned to cornhole now, and now they're just killing
they destroy it.
Young kids.
Yep.
Killing it on the cornhole circuit.
They are totally tearing those boards up.
Yeah, the grandpas and uncles, they're all like, what's this cornhole game? Like sharking these little kids and then destroying them, taking their lunch money. Yeah,
but the funny thing about like backyard sports or really just outdoor sports is like I don't know, like I still, I'm going to be 31 soon, and I still love going out and playing like all those things. Like just really any game. I mean, soccer is not necessarily my favorite, but I would play it if that's what everybody was playing. And kind of a funny story. So a few years back when I worked in the same building as Patrick, I do now again, but we moved for a few years. Me and him would actually go to lunch, and we created this entire game.
Oh, yeah. We haven't played that in a while.
Yeah, it was with tennis balls, and it was with like a wiffle ball bat. And we had to play it inside of a tennis court. I'm not gonna reveal the name of it because we should have come up with a backup name.
a safe for work name, a safe for family's name.
Yeah, we should have come up with a different. But me and him would go out every day for lunch, and we'd be out there playing this game. And it was just like we're just like a couple of like little kids out there. It's like being 12 years old. You're out there like hitting tennis balls, like trying to keep them in the yard and stuff. Like it was. All right. It's still a lot of fun.
Now, if you had to give it a safe for work name or a safe for family name, could you make up one?
Pat?
Tennis ball, baseball in a tennis court game.
That's a terrible name.
Longest name ever for a sport.
Samsonite.
Samsonite. That sounds like, it's way off. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, we should have come up with a backup name, but we didn't. Right. So
homework. No, you don't need any more homework. Watch Superman. Forget making up a name to your weird tennis game. Patrick, how about you, buddy?
All right, so I'll start off with the worst backyard game that we played as kids. And the game that we played was called Kill the Man. Now, different kids have different names for it. So it was like where we would one person would have a football, and then 4 or 5 other kids would try to tackle that person. And once you get tackled, then you got to give up the ball. The next person goes. And it was a game that you would play for maybe 15 to 30 minutes because it was high action. You're tackling guys. You're running around full speed trying to tackle someone. But, I mean, there were so many injuries in that game because you're just like no pads, full force, kids just tackling each other. When you get tackled by 2-3 people, and you can get some injuries. So that was a fun game to play with my older brother and his friends, but it was also the worst game because of the injuries.
Man, I totally forgot about that game. Now, with your crew, how often did you said you played it with your older brothers, your bigger brothers and his friends? Your bigger brother and his friends. Now, did they often make you start? Like, did they throw the ball at you and say, kill the man or whatever, like, and start it? Because I know with us, inevitably, the game would always get ruined when one of the bigger kids in our crew of neighborhood guys would start like picking out some of the smaller ones and like making sure they were it so that they would get hit constantly, and that would usually ruin it. So
you know what? I don't remember if that's the way we played. I do remember that one of my oldest brother and his friends, they would go easy on the little guys. They would. You could tell that they were just going 50% speed.
Oh, you guys are so nice. Yeah, Marc and I, where we grew up, we were bullies, so we hurt the kids.
We're learning something new every day.
Learning a lot.
We used to actually play that, Patrick, on our trampoline. Like, we had one of those big trampolines that we would play, like, kill the man on the trampoline.
Dang, that's worse.
Wow, that sounds...
It's an intense version.
That sounds like an automatic visit to the emergency room.
Now that I think back on it, we were always like, everybody was always trying to get the ball, and there's literally no benefit to actually grabbing the ball.
There's no winning.
Not at
You
all.
just get hit over and over.
Yeah, there's no winning at that game.
Some
Nobody
would say
wins.
you get smeared, but that's all they'll say.
But that led me into my best backyard game that I played when I was growing up, and that was backyard wrestling.
Look out.
And I was backyard wrestling in high school.
BYW.
We would
The
get like
BYW leagues.
3 mattresses. We would cover them up so they would all like stay together, and we would have all these different names or characters. We'd have our own special moves. We even had an announcer, and the announcer for our backyard wrestling. We had a website. We had everything, but our announcer.
You had a website?
We did have a website.
Oh my
I tried to go to it last week or a couple weeks ago, and it was taken down. And I reached out to the guy who had put the website up, and he said that he hadn't touched it in like 10 years. So it probably lost its license or copyright or website domain. So
Right.
we totally lost it. So all that stuff is gone.
What was the website name?
It was extremewrestling.com.
That sounds
Tell
legit.
you what. If you use the Internet Archive, it's called like the Wayback Machine or whatever.
Yeah.
You can actually go back, because
In time.
Yep, literally back in time. Nice.
No way,
Lucas.
can't. How do
I
you?
like-
What is it? What is this thing?
It's
It's called the Internet.
Archive.
You go to Chrome. These are these programs on a computer that you
Oh my
access
gosh,
the,
Lucas!
the World Wide Web.
You have to be some kind of wizard to get this.
Yeah.
Apparently.
What is
Tell
this
you what, if you
Alright,
look
well,
up the
I'll tell you.
Windows 95
I'll
video,
have to talk to you later about that, so I
Yes.
can get that website back.
yeah,
But
basically, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I'll talk to you later about that.
Yep.
But yeah, the announcer for our wrestling association, he was so good at it that we told him, I was like, you need to go into some sort of broadcasting, because he just had a natural knack for it. And he ended up going to college for broadcasting, and now he is a local radio DJ for one of the top radio stations in Cincinnati.
Nice.
So, and every time I hear him, I'm like, man, he's got like the prime spot. Like, he's in the morning, and he's just so good. It's just to see that we went from that small backyard wrestling to him actually doing what he loves and what he likes, and he's good at it. So that's kind of cool.
What was the name of that website again?
It's extremewrestling.s5.com.
Okay.
Are you doing it right now? Hopefully you can pull it up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to.
So
I've actually seen this website as well.
you have,
Like, I saw this website you showed me like a couple of years ago. This is a real thing.
yeah, we had
like-
wrestling belts, we had title, we had actual pay-per-view quote unquote events where we would get together and film it. So I have old VHS tapes from us wrestling. I had
That
a
is
couple
hardcore.
nicknames. The nicknames were Sexy Nova.
Look out.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
it was modeled after the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Nice.
And then I was also High Voltage. High Voltage was more modeled after Razor Ramon. So my finishing move was called the Electric Razor. like the Razor's
Nice.
Edge.
Now, at this time, when you guys were doing this, could you even use electric razors?
Shut up.
I saw the website. No.
That is a negative.
No. But yes,
Nice.
we had a good time. That was my favorite backyard sport when I was growing up.
That's awesome. Well, our buddy Matt, Arctic Warlocks, he wanted to pitch in and share about some of his favorites growing up. He said this on the Discord. He said, I guess with all the street football using the driveways as yard markers, to playing basketball horse in the driveway, to punting footballs in the backyard, one of my greatest moments was on the pool table. You know the game, solids versus stripes. I sank that 8 ball on the break.
Ooh.
And we got any pool sharks in here? In the house?
No.
No?
I tend to play like a little bit when I go out. Like I don't know how somebody could even make the 8-ball on the break. Like I don't even know how it's
That's
possible.
wild.
Yeah, I've definitely never done that myself.
He is a warlock.
He is. He's an Arctic 8-ball warlock. I grew up on...
That's like getting a hole-in-one in golf.
Yeah, that's hardcore. I grew up... my uncles had pool tables, and every Thanksgiving, I would go there for Thanksgiving, obviously. And we would play pool. They had a regular pool table, the full size, and they also had a bumper pool table. I don't know if you guys have ever played those, but those are smaller, and they have little bumpers on them. And the hole for the balls literally is a centimeter larger than the ball itself. So it is no easy task to get those.
That is a hard game.
Those pool balls into those holes, but it's a very hard game, a very good challenge, and it actually helps you get a lot better at regular pool, because once you go back to regular pool, those pool holes look like huge, look like the Grand Canyon pretty much. So it's good stuff. For me, growing up in my backyard, we had a 3-yard, 3-house spread that we pretty much connected all 3 yards to do the things we did. And I had my one neighbor, Matt, and then on the other side, I was the house in the middle. And then the house on the other side, the main boy that lived there was, his name was Brian, but we called him Little Brian because there was another kid in our crew of neighborhood kids that was also called Brian, and he was older and bigger, so we called him Big Brian, obviously. We were pretty much limited to our 3 yards back in the day because of the Debbies. Now, when I say the Debbies, both moms on both sides of me, for my friends, both of their names were Debbie. So the Debbies would always limit their kids, and I think we all had those growing up in our neighborhoods, that we had that one kid that could only, like, once the sun went down, they had to go home. They couldn't go very far in the neighborhood. And so the Debbies on both sides, they were always not allowing their kids to go very far. So, we would ride bikes, and we could only ride bikes as far as, like, Matt. That day, his mom would only let him go to, like, the third tree down the street or something. And so we would all have to go turn around at the tree and go back to the house. And we just went on a circuit because we couldn't go anywhere because of the one friend. And so thankfully we were nice and loyal, and we would stick together. But, we did all kinds of those fun things. During the daytime, of course, I would say that our favorite activity during the day was tag. All types of tag.
Yes.
Whether it was freeze tag, regular tag where you're just once you're tagged. And then, of course, as we got older and we watched a lot of, like, Saturday morning cartoons, we would have TV tag where you would have to name a cartoon. There were several variations of tag that we would play. And, of course, we would also play War. War was also my favorite because we had the 3 yards, and everybody had some variation of a weapon, like a Nerf gun, a water gun. If you didn't have those, of course, there were always sticks and rocks you could use for some of the... Yeah, you got to love them sticks and rocks.
Hurl rocks.
You got a Nerf gun? I got a rock.
Yeah, eat this, kid. Be like, hey, you want to use my Nerf gun? Oh, I'd love to use the Nerf gun. Good, I'm using this rock. I win. But once nighttime hit, that's when things got serious, and we would play hide and seek. And that was probably, even above tag, hide and seek was the neighborhood backyard sport. We played a variation of hide and seek that was mixed with tag, so it wasn't about just finding people. That was for babies. We played the version of hide and seek that once you were seen, we actually had 2 versions. Once you were seen, you could break for it, like you could run, and you had a home base that you could be safe at. Other times you would play that version of hide and seek where as soon as the person's done counting, and they go around one side of the house, everybody else would go around the other side of the house and all be safe. And then, you get that one kid that's not too smart, that's missing a few screws, and they were like it for like an hour. And I think we had like a 3 it limit. Like if you were it 3 times in a row, they could choose the next person who's it. But that was my favorite, man, doing the hide and seek. Like I'm not a really like particularly fast guy. I was kind of a bigger kid when I was that age. But I could get to moving, and I remember a couple times that some of the older kids, they would target me during these tag and hide and seeks because they would get so angry that they couldn't catch me, and I would definitely run the table with them and escape a lot of times playing that good old fashioned hide and seek. But yeah, so those are all my favorites. In terms of any backyard games I didn't like, I can't say that there were many. I think the only games I didn't like are the games that ended in somebody crying. We lived next to a river, so if we played any game like basketball, like driveway basketball or kickball, and the ball went into the river, we were done. Like, once the river ate the ball, like the river sometimes would go really fast. Like during spring, the current would be really fast. So we would try our best. Like sometimes we would walk down the river as far as we could go until the Debbies would yell at us to get the ball out of the river. But we lost a lot of basketballs, a lot of kickballs, a lot of volleyballs in that river. It was bad. So that was the only time that those are the only activities I didn't like that got ruined by the Debbies or ruined by the river. That was it. So beyond the backyard, eventually I think we all got to the point where some of us at least played sports outside of our backyard, played sports with school, played sports with little leagues and those kind of things. To kind of get us going with that part of the discussion, Tim Paullin had this to say on the Discord. He said, I grew up playing mostly baseball and football, but my favorite non-sanctioned sport was kickball. And did you all play this Midwestern thing? And I think we already answered that, but Tim Paullin is with you, Ronnie, in the love for kickball.
Oh, me and Tim, man, best friends.
Yep, for sure. Before we get into the school discussion, school sports real quick, we did have 2 questions related to backyard and kind of less competitive or less sports-related activities. My mom actually wrote in, Wilda Swisher, and she wanted to know, hey, Mom, love you, miss you. She said, have you heard or played circle tag? And I'm going to be honest, I don't know what that means. Tag? I have no idea.
Nope, I have
Ronnie?
never heard of that.
No, I don't know. Is that Duck Duck Goose? That's kind of like a circle tag.
I mean, that's a good guess. I have a feeling that's not the case, but we'll go with that. So, have you guys ever played a mean game of Duck Duck Goose?
Yeah, I remember playing back at like grade school. What was the other one? Where basically everybody had their heads down. Was it Heads Up 7 Up? Do you guys play that one?
Oh, Heads Up 7 Up.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was a classroom game. That was hardcore.
I used to cheat big time. Look at everybody's shoes.
Of course you did.
Did anybody else do that to win?
No, not at all. Because I'm not a cheater
for
like
sure.
that.
Patrick, did you cheat? Did you cheat at Heads Up 7 Up by looking at people's feet?
I don't know what Heads Up 7 Up is.
Marc, the train's coming. Get that train.
Shut up, train!
Ronnie is talking, so it only makes sense that the train is called.
No, but yeah, I remember playing like Duck Duck Goose and Heads Up 7 Up like in like low grade school, and those games were always a blast.
For sure. Speaking of some of the classic games, Melanie Novosel, our very own Melanie, Mrs. Novosel, the mom of 3 children, she had this to ask. What games or activities do you see always returning generation after generation? For example, I see my daughter come home from school singing the same jump rope rhymes that I used to sing when I was in elementary school, even though I didn't teach it to her. They just always seem to come back around. What other games do you see make a comeback with your kids or neighborhoods? You guys have any of those that you've observed?
I think we've talked about a couple of them already with tag and freeze tag, all the games where you don't need like a tool or some sort of weapon like Nerf guns and all that stuff. Like the tag and the freeze tag and the hide and seek. Those are. I mean, I play those games with my kids. We play hide and seek both outside and the best one is when we play hide and seek inside. At nighttime.
Oh yeah.
So the kids actually have to have flashlights to move around the house to find wherever we're hiding. But yeah, all those games that we've already talked about. I think a lot of them are. There's generation after generation. We see those same.
I don't think hide and seek is ever going away. I mean, that game is.
No.
Yeah.
Hide and seek.
Not hide
Any
and
variation
seek or
of it,
tag.
Nope. You know, it's funny, in Brazil, I see variations of that, but even less specifically, I see the consistent theme that will run throughout generations is playing games that make other people look stupid. It's like the games that you do to like laugh at other people, and sometimes it's okay and it's innocent and it's little kids having fun, but sometimes it's downright mean. Like there's a game here that the kids play. Like my son taught my wife and I this game, and we had no idea what he was teaching us. And the game was called Pikachu, and we're like, "What? Pikachu? What kind of Pokemon game is this?" And so my son started playing the game with my wife, with his mom, and he started doing these things, and all of a sudden, like, she lost, and he literally grabbed her cheeks and he squeezed her cheeks as hard as he could to make her Pikachu, to make her cheeks red. And we were like, what kind of game is this that you're like abusing each other and trying to like destroy each other's cheeks?
But, fun one, duh.
Yeah, they have a variety of these kind of weird games with kids where they just try to hurt each other. And I think that's outside of like tag and freeze, you know, and hide and seek. There's this, kids will just make up games to just mess with each other all the time. It's inevitable. But as I was talking about before, eventually sports and activities shifted to the school area. And for some of us, it was the closest we got to semi-professional sports. One of the people that we know, bringing up Tim Paullin again, our buddy on the Discord, he said, "I want to give you guys a silly story. My best friend Chad, number 63, and me, number 67, we played guard on the offensive line with a combined weight of 300 pounds, which is not very much for football. We became experts at pulling almost every play and blindsiding the big boys." And he shows a picture of their championship team. He said, "Our coach was a genius, and he kept us from getting run over." And not only that, but he also said that his football team had 2 undefeated seasons and won the championship 2 years in a row.
Nice.
Back when he was on the crew. So
That's
nice, with an offensive line where 2 of your guys are less than 200 pounds.
yeah,
150 each on average. Man, that is hard.
That is impressive. So did you guys play any school sports? Play any little leagues? I think Marc already mentioned the little league sports that he was a part of. How about?
I'll go to follow up Tim here, because in high school and I guess really like all throughout school, like I also played guard, and it was like the offensive.
And you guys really are best friends.
I know. Me and Tim we are on the same page.
You're brothers from other mothers.
We are, but we always pooled as well, and like pooling as a guard, like the offensive line sounds like it would not be fun, but when you get to pool, you back up, then you run down the line. And they're letting somebody basically come unblocked. That person is never expecting you. So as a pulling guard, you just get a free run right at them every single time. So nice. It is really fun. And you don't have to be big to be a guard, but man, combined 300 pounds, that is small. But yeah. I guess you do want like your athletic people there and stuff. But I'm right there with Tim. Like playing football, my senior year especially kind of sticks out. Like. I played guard the whole year. Like I was thinking to myself, can I go somewhere to play maybe? Like, definitely not good enough to go play at like a really good school or anything like that, but just go play somewhere to keep the game going. And I think my knees would be completely destroyed had I continued playing more football.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you're just not built for it.
Yeah. I think for me, going off of that, both football and wrestling were 2 sports that I never touched. I was always pretty good at throwing the ball as a quarterback, like the backyard and with friends and stuff. But I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'm not competitive whatsoever. So I never got it. For me, the one that I lasted the longest with, really, I had no business lasting this long. But I played baseball from probably first grade, I guess, starting with T-ball back in the day, and I ran the gamut of going through T-ball, slow pitch. But what really ruined me is when I transitioned from slow pitch to little league, where the kids are actually throwing the ball. I had a rough transition because during the tryouts, they misaligned the pitching machine. and it was a little too much inside. And then at the same time, I rode the inside of the plate a little too much. And I was just a noob, and I didn't think. I just reacted, and I went to swing, and the ball just nailed me right on the finger and stoved it. And I was probably 7 years old at that time, and it automatically gave me this it wasn't a phobia, but it just gave me like this fear, this deep fear that every time the ball was coming at me, it was going to hit me. And I literally, I'm pretty sure to this day I still have a part of that in me. Like when stuff is flying at me, or whether it's a baseball or I don't know, a piece of paper, I automatically react. Like I sometimes react very violently. So
like somebody fired a cannonball at you.
Yeah, exactly. But I played baseball until my freshman year in high school. In the little league, I started out as that right field kid. Like picking the flowers, falling asleep, doing all those things out in right field. But eventually, I did get to second base, and I was a pretty good second baseman. But my weakness was always batting. I probably batted like .05. Like I doubt I even batted 100. It was terrible. So that was my most active sport during my high school, middle school career.
For me, I played baseball and basketball from when I was 4 or 5 years old all the way through high school.
Nice.
Now, I really liked basketball. I was really good at it, but I had weak ankles, so I would roll my ankles all the time. And to a point where I got to high school and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to play basketball anymore. This is too hard on my ankles. So, I continued to play baseball. Just had a natural swing. I was good. I played almost every single position in the field I could. I think the least amount of times I played one of the positions was catcher, because I was also a pitcher. I played first, second, shorts. I played all the different positions. But I really did like outfield. I like playing, catching fly balls and throwing it in, and also pitching. But yeah, I played all that. I didn't play football. I didn't play soccer. I didn't play any of those sports. I just stuck with baseball and basketball because I was naturally good at it. And when you're naturally good at things, it's fun. When you're struggling at playing like another sport like soccer, like I'm no good at soccer, so I don't really like that sport.
Yeah.
But with baseball and basketball, since I am good at it, it is a little bit more fun to play.
I also had a try at basketball. Probably around the same time I started playing t-ball, I also was playing in the little school leagues with basketball. But I didn't get past middle school because I didn't hit my growth spurt till probably sophomore, junior year in high school. So I was just super short. I remember playing in the little bitty leagues, like I guess it would be elementary school, close to middle school, back when, they would have girls and boys play together before it got to middle and high school. And I would say my scariest opponent was a girl who had hit her growth spurt probably in third grade, and she was like head and shoulders above me, and she would always come after me. Like, she was scary, and she would destroy me. And I don't know what kind of backyard rules they were using back in the day, but I felt like she was abusing me physically, and I didn't have a lawyer at the time, so I couldn't do anything about it. But that kind of what?
And he probably got cooties from it too.
Yeah, totally got
Gross.
cooties. It was awful. It was terrible. But I was more of that made me more of an outside shooter. I was terrible at handling. I couldn't dribble with my left hand, just the right hand.
I was the exact opposite of what I got my growth spurt really early, and I was 6 foot when I was 13 years old.
Wow. Nice.
And, I was tall, always tall as a kid. But I'm 6'1" now, and I've been 6'1" since freshman in high school. So I get my growth spurt really early. So that meant I was playing a lot of the center positions,
right?
Where all the tall people are playing. And as I'm getting older, the kids that were shorter than me are now taller than me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have like the ball skills that these kids had when they were smaller, because the smaller kids are handling the ball more. And they're dribbling the ball, where I'm just standing down low, put my hands up like, hey, throw to me. I'm taller than all these people. Let me just put it up. And once I got to high school, that's another reason why I fell out of basketball, because I didn't have the skills that all these other players had.
Yeah. So Marc,
That's
did you
crazy.
have
You were
any?
6 foot.
Yeah, and 13. That's crazy.
13 years old, you were
13,
6 foot.
yeah, right.
I was 5'6" in my driver's license photo when I was 16 years old. I am now 6'2".
Nice, late bloomer. So Marc, did you have any other sports or activities you liked?
No, I mean honestly, like I said, I played baseball, little league baseball when I was a kid. It was, local rec league, yeah, that was, and I went to a basketball camp a couple of years, but I really wasn't that good at it. And then once I got to high school, I dropped the whole sports thing, because it just wasn't interesting to me. It wasn't something I enjoyed. I was the artsy fartsy kid, and I was into music and all that kind of stuff, and so I swung hard right into music once I got into high school. I was part of a choir and all that kind of stuff, a traveling choir and all that. So I sports was behind me at that point.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. I was hardcore into sports in middle school, but then I swung definitely to the artsy-fartsy side. It actually was a mixture of artsy-fartsy and church activities. Like I got hardcore into church activities, youth group activities. I played sports on that end, but I didn't play anything in high school. My time was put into church, put into choir. I sang in the choir also. For me, I think the thing that I've already kind of mentioned that I had the hardest time with was competitiveness. And we're not the only ones, Marc, that had a hard time with that. Sheldor,
Yep.
another one of our buddies on the Discord, he said, we all know both these people, the ones that take games too seriously or those that it's not a big deal for. It's just a game. Which do you and your family side on? So, I think we already have an idea already, but for the most part, are you guys on the side of taking games too seriously or not taking them seriously enough?
I hate being competitive. Like, that's not my thing at all. People get like super into, wanting to play against each other and win and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it feels good to win, but it's just not my thing. I'm not a hardcore competitive person. I'm a real chill dude. So
Yeah, I'm with you, Marc.
it's just not my thing.
I'm not. I'm a competitive person, but not to the point where I have to win. I like to enjoy my games, but if I can be competitive and win, then great. But I also, it's not the end of the world that when I'm playing a game, whether it be online. I mean, we play Blackout, we win maybe 2% of the time. So I just want to play because it's fun. I'm not in there to if we don't win, oh well. But yeah, it's just more casual for me.
Yeah, I actually definitely used to be like the take everything too serious, like basically everything like wanted to win. I think now that I've gotten older, like I've just kind of like pulled away from that. Like I don't know. I guess as you get older, you realize that the stuff that actually matters, and most of that is not it. Now I just like to, even with volleyball. I mean, I like to win, but having fun is way more important than winning. So
Yeah, it sounds like we're all pretty much on the same page. I grew up, I think for me, what saved me from even trying to be competitive is I just observed like some of the kids like that I grew up with. Like there were a couple kids in our neighborhood that they were the worst. Like they would always ruin it for everybody else because they would take it so seriously, and it just didn't make it fun anymore. And to me, like I love strategy, I love being challenged, I love developing like team play, but when it comes down to being like I gotta win and that's the only thing that matters, like that's the worst. Now I will say sometimes in my family, my stepmom is one of the luckiest people I know, and she will play any board game, any little game that we play where there's competition, and the die will always roll in her favor. She'll always get the best cards, and so we get a little competitive sometimes, pretty much to just beat my stepmom. Like that's That's the family's goal. Is like we just need to beat Wilda, who asked the question earlier. I love you, Mom. And yeah, I would say that's the only time our family gets really competitive, when we just want to make sure my mom loses. So I think when it comes down to it, sports and games are at their best when they bring us together. When we just have fun together, get to know each other.
For sure.
For sure. As a bonus question, as we transition to the end of our time together, because all good things must come to an end. Sheila Novosel? Shayla Novosel. I always forget how to say it, so I'm sorry.
Sheila
Novosel. All right. Sheila Novosel asked us a question, and I'm going to slightly modify it and make it sports focused. But she said, "What are your favorite childhood sports movies, or what are your favorite sports movies?" I don't have any from my childhood, but I do have two favorites from my early childhood: Goonies, and a very good sports movie, The Sandlot. One of the best baseball movies. So, you're killing me, Smalls. I use that saying like once a week at least. And nobody understands what I'm saying here in Brazil. So, they're like, who's Smalls and why is he killing someone?
The Sandlot was just iconic. That movie, even still watching it, it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
I think it just portrays just like the boy growing up in America. Even though the movie's a little bit outdated from when I grew up, it's still you always had your gang of buddies, just in the neighborhood and stuff. That movie's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
One other movie I liked when I was a kid is called Angels in the Outfield. I'm sure you guys remember that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. doing the angel wave.
Yep. You listening to the podcast, you can't see us, but right now I did the angel flying.
Run home.
Yeah. That's a good movie for sure. That was classic.
Another one that I liked was The Little Giants.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Little Giants. Yeah. That was a funny one. That had Rick Moranis. That was
the Giants versus the Cowboys, the underdogs versus the big.
Yeah, that movie was great. What about Rookie of the Year? Also,
Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
So
what baseball fan of a kid wouldn't love to throw 105 miles an hour and play for a major league team?
Doubt.
I mean, that was just a dream.
So cool.
For sure. Did he just say funky butt lovin'? that movie's classic.
I do love in that movie all the different names that bench coach has for him. He's like Gardenhauser,
Gardenhauser,
Rosenbacker.
Yeah, those are funny. Of course, have to mention, and you had mentioned this, I think, when we talked about our favorite movies, Ronnie. But Mighty Ducks. That's a sport that none of us really mentioned. I never played hockey, and the times I've ice skated, I pretty much have Pat's weak ankles. I feel like my ankles are going to break every time I ice skate. But I loved Mighty Ducks. It made me want to play hockey.
Yeah, those movies.
Mighty Ducks 1, Mighty Ducks 2 was still good. Mighty Ducks 3 was okay. But overall, the trilogy, Mighty Ducks, those were good sports movies too. Definitely some of my favorites.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, and what?
Space Jam.
Space Jam. Oh my gosh.
And
yes.
Is there any other movie, also another movie, is there any other movie that wanted you to play golf, made me want to play golf more than Happy Gilmore?
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Gilmore, that's a classic. That's a classic. Go to your home. Yeah. You're too good for your home? That movie's hilarious. Cool. Any other sports movies? Last call.
I would just say, I know I mentioned it on our movies podcast, but Remember the Titans, maybe one of the best sports movies I've ever even seen.
It's worth saying again. It's such a good movie. Yeah, it's
so good.
Rudy.
Yeah. Rudy.
Oh, Rudy. Yeah, that is good.
Oh, we can throw all these Major League One,
Major
these
League.
Aren't.
Yeah.
I love the Major League.
These are sports movies.
We did that last
time.
We were like Major League. Yeah, Major League movies.
Perfect
are hilarious.
Game, A League of Their Own.
Oh, yes.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah. There's no crying in baseball. I love that. Oh man, Tom Hanks is the best. He's literally been in every genre of movie, I think.
He is not the worst.
No, he is the opposite of the worst. Full show.
Real news.
True news. All right, guys. Well, as we wrap things up, as we get to our time of inspiration, of music, of possibly dad jokes, like I have, what do you guys got that you want to share as we call it a wrap?
Well, as always, I've got a few songs to add to the old, Good Morning Guys morning playlist. And all three of these songs are specifically sports-themed songs. So the three songs we've got here are Centerfield from John Fogerty, which...
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Such a good one.
I've never heard that song. I look forward to hearing it.
You've probably heard it. Put me
Or maybe
in,
I have,
coach. I'm ready to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with music, with song titles. I'm the worst. I'll be upfront and honest about that.
That's okay. It's all good.
So thank you for educating me.
No problem. The next song is POD's Boom. Everybody remember POD?
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
And then this last one, you're probably going to have an issue with this one. This is Rock and Roll Part 2 from Gary Glitter. Now, you don't know what that is at all just by hearing the name and the person who sings it or whatever. But
Well, I know
Say
what
Gary Glitter?
yeah, his name
Did
is
you say Gary Unicorn Anal Dust?
Yes, that is exactly what I said.
I thought so.
Now if I sang da-na-na, hey, da-na-na-na, da-da,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey.
that's the name of that song.
Wow, I had no idea that's what that song was called. That's just the Hey song.
Yes, that's all it's really known for.
Gary Glitter.
Yeah, that was
Fake
the
news.
thing. I mean,
That does sound
I
like a
will
fake news
send you
story.
the YouTube link. But
My dad's name is Gary, and I'm totally going to call him Gary Glitter from now on.
Yes. That would be
actually,
awesome.
I wouldn't do that. I would not call him Gary Glitter because I think Gary Glitter actually got in trouble with the law for something.
Probably from throwing pea snowballs at people.
Nope, it was a
Probably.
lot worse than that. But we won't get into that here. But in any case, those are the three songs that I will be adding to the playlist. So I hope you enjoy them.
Honorable mention to We Are the Champions.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a good one.
Anybody else?
I've got one thing.
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
So recently, I started getting a ton of spam in my email, just random from all over the place. I'm not sure how this happened, but what I think is that every time you unsubscribe from one of those, they then give your email to 1,000 other spammers. This seems to be a
because
vicious
that is
cycle
a-
that just never
That
can
sounds
end. It
about
just
right.
gets worse.
Yeah.
That is real news. So when you unsubscribe, they know that is an active email address. So when you hit that unsubscribe, they're like, okay, active email address. Here, companies, this is an active email address. Go forward all your spam to this person.
And I'm in the cycle now. It is awful.
Yeah,
no way
that
out of it.
stinks. No, other than just making a new email.
It's my Apple ID email. I killed myself.
You
here.
can change your Apple ID.
Never mind. Yeah, you can.
Hmm.
Technology.
I got a bounty on my head out here with all these spammers.
Yeah, you do.
You just need to
Gotta
let the
pay that
ship
Pied
sink.
Piper. Let it die.
I will pay $300 to stop getting these right now.
Right here, right now. All right. Patrick, do you have anything?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, then I'm just going to have to share some sports-related dad jokes with you guys to finish things out, okay?
Do
Yes.
it.
Here we go. So, my first joke for you is this. Why shouldn't you marry a tennis player?
Why?
Because they make a lot of racket.
Oh, that'll be a bonus answer. But no, that is not it. It's because love means nothing to them.
Oh.
Boom.
Boom. Next one. Why did the golfer wear 2 pairs of pants?
Why?
In case he got a hole in one.
But
Oh, yes.
Ha-ha.
That's a good one.
All right, here's the last one. It's a little bit of a walk, but it's an old-fashioned blonde joke. So, a guy took his blonde girlfriend to her first football game, and they had great seats right behind their team's bench. After the game, he asked her how she liked the experience, and she said, well, I really liked it, especially the tight pants and all the big muscles. But I just couldn't understand why they were killing each other over 25 cents. And dumbfounded, he said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, they flipped a coin, and one team got it, and then for the rest of the game, all they kept screaming was, 'Get the quarterback, get the quarterback.'" I'm like, "Hello, it's only 25 cents.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I know, right? Man, they don't...
Wait a minute, we're going to be doing blonde jokes from here on out? I feel totally discriminated against.
You should. You dumb blonde. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, those are definitely old jokes that did not translate into our PC generation nowadays. But, all right. Well, that's all for this Good Morning Guys. Remember to find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, The Good Morning Guys, or at the GMG Podcast to go beyond listening. We look forward to talking at you again next week in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night on podcast services around the globe. The last month is coming because December is almost here. All right. Podcasting brothers, Pat, Marc, Ronnie, Jay, and you listeners, our friends and family, go get your good morning this week. May God bless and guide your lives as you live, work, and game. Until next week, we love you. Hugs and kisses.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. This is our 12th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. I got to do that again. That sucked.
Did you say episode?
Episode.
This is our pepisode.
This is our 12th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I suck. All right. Let's try that again. Okay.